For excellent reasons, mainstream social historians have long been out of sympathy with such evocations of the magic of the past. They have rightly emphasized the modernity of so much of Georgian life. Eminent Georgians were not, after all, lovable paternalist eccentrics. Not all squires were bucolic Squire Westons, who loved a good dog and a good wench, and in that order. Many were profit-hungry capitalists. Labourers were not all forelock-touching and deferential, but as tenacious of their rights as any modern trade unionist. It is salutary to resist the urge to turn the Georgian century into prelapsarian olden times. Yet it would equally be a mistake to assimilate the 18th century by denying its differences. Rather, the 18th century marked a distinctive moment in the making of modern England. Its society was capitalist, materialist, market-oriented, its temper worldly, pragmatic, responsive to economic forces. Yet its political institutions and its distributions of wealth and power were unashamedly inegalitarian, hierarchical, hereditary, and privileged. Economic activity took place on a human scale, though often it did not bear a human face. Change generally occurred at a pace people could adapt to. Custom still enjoyed great authority, and deep-rooted localism, grounded on community loyalties, shaped what remained a face-to-face society. All this was possible because people were not breathing down each other's necks. For by our standards, England was, in 1700, and still, though less so, in 1800, empty. Competition for space, natural resources, and livelihoods was not so cutthroat or so ferociously dictated by impersonal economic iron laws as it was to become in the heyday of the Victorian trade cycle. Runaway population growth and tumultuous industrial transformation were to change all that. But though these can be discerned in the last third of the 18th century, they did not peak until the 19th. The following chapters interweave themes and chronology. In Chapter 1, I offer a flavour of Georgian society by highlighting its particularity and diversity, the poles of experience between rich and poor, young and old, male and female, town and country, north and south, between England and other places where English-speaking people lived, between England and continental Europe. Regions became more integrated and mutually interdependent during the century, owing largely to the spread of market relations. Yet England also remained a patchwork of distinctive local communities, a fact that must silently temper all the generalizations I venture. In Chapters 2 and 3, I review the social ranks and their interrelations, stressing hierarchical inequalities and friction, but also the fundamental tenacity of the overall structure. The ascendancy of the propertied was reinforced by their effective monopoly over the inflections of power, landed estates, status, patronage, office, and political and legal authority within the state. In Chapter 4, I further emphasize how the stability of society was reinforced down the generations by the reproduction of particular habits of living, the dovetailing of family life with economic life, home with workplace, the parts played by household, workplace, and community in integrating individuals into their social position, the conditioning effects of education and religion. In Chapters 5 and 6, I turn to explore forces working for change and their socio-economic impact. Overcoming possible traditional scruples about gentility, the titled, rich, and powerful increasingly gave a lead in the pursuit of wealth and the production of a new consumer culture. Acquisitiveness and opportunism found a new respectability. This, in turn, had certain socially accommodating and integrative consequences, helping to mold consensus among the affluent and the aspirant. Yet new wealth, with its poor relation new poverty, also proved a social solvent. Gaps were widening between successful capitalists and those they proletarianized, between patrician and plebeian cultures. These connected processes of cultural consensus and cultural atomization are further explored in Chapter 7, which examines the attempts of polite and